Ukraine, once famous for having been the granary of the USSR, is gaining back its status of an agrarian state. Within 10 years, from 1999 to 2009, the poultry stock had grown here from 100 million to 1 billion. Lately, one of the Ukrainian agricultural companies has become #1 in Europe in the scope of production. In 2013, Ukraine became the world's 10th in production of broiler chicken. It should be noted that the fertile land and advantageous geographical location are not the only factors that have provided for the unprecedented advantage for the domestic farming. It is the rich experience and high qualification of experts capable not only of building an enterprise from zero, but also of organizing effective business management that has been crucial so far.
The experience of Ukrainian agrarians is colossal. They have Western technologies at their disposal and accumulated experience dating back to the Soviet era. They are those magicians who can ensure liquidity of any agricultural project in any climatic conditions. Over the last decade, we've created a number of large companies in Ukraine. It is the construction of large-scale plants to which no European plant can compare in the productivity. 24,000 heads per hour, 48,000 heads per hour. The production is totally automatic all the way to the final product.
Atlantik Group is a group of companies specializing in creation and development of agricultural companies with their subsequent management and offering its partners the complex solution of tasks. Atlantik Group is the only company in Ukraine handling all the components of poultry and livestock business. At its disposal is the expertise in feeding, poultry housing, veterinary support, genetics, and technological consulting. The history of the Atlantik Group dates back to the creation of AgroVet Atlantik in Ukraine in 2006, which specialized in the full-range cattle and poultry farming services. In 2009, the company made itself present in all regions of Ukraine. Its client base comprised over 1,000 farms. It entered the CSI market successfully. 2010, the Atlantik Group began a large-scale cooperation with world leaders, Alltech, Volak, Exafan, CCPA, Feedlance. In 2011 to 2012, the Atlantik Group bought the Feedlance Fodder Company, the Farmer Atlantik, a producer of industrial poultry farming cage and floor equipment, and the Agribusiness Consult Company, which provided advice in the agro-industrial area. In 2013, the Atlantik Group received a grant from the government of the Netherlands for construction of a feed plant in Uganda. It also began supplying equipment and premixes to India, Oman, Iraq, Jordan. In Sultanate of Oman, the group founded the College of Poultry Management in cooperation with the government and started training local experts.
Based on their experience, experts of the Atlantik Group have developed their own strategy and technologies applicable in any conditions. While creating and developing plants, we use our own approach.
This is one of the slaughterhouses of the leading agricultural company of Ukraine, which processes more than 400,000 broiler chicken a day. The perfect operation of the plant and several subsidiaries makes possible for the holding company to keep the leading position in the competition field and guarantees the supply of high-quality chicken food that meets the world standards to the Ukrainian market. The success has rather been embedded at the plant's construction phase. Experts of the Atlantik Group participated actively using their special approach.
The Atlantik Group has solved a host of tasks and developed its own algorithm.
The algorithm used by the Atlantik Group is rather complex and can only be executed by the most advanced developer companies of high qualification and world standing. At the phase of preliminary planning of any new agricultural enterprise, the Atlantik Group shall perform in-depth analysis of geographical, climatic, and even political conditions which might affect the project's implementation, thoroughly study risk and opportunities of the market, develop a detailed plan for the investment return. Designing, the most important production phase. Scrupulous preparation of technical documentation, technical drawings, mock-ups, plans for the future plant. The experts of the Atlantik Group say all of the further work will depend on this crucial design phase.
By assuming responsibility for the design at the very first phase, we accept the possibility of any errors which might cause irreversible consequences in the future.
At this phase, the Atlantik Group experts start the construction of buildings, casting concrete sites, laying pipelines. At the same time, based on the client's needs, they would purchase any necessary equipment.
For example, we have our own effective floor housing technology. If any new, more advanced elements turn up in the market, we build them into our comprehensive proposal. This means we equip a plant at the highest quality.
The accumulated experience makes possible for the Atlantik Group experts to ensure perfect equipping of slaughterhouses and concentrate feed plant construction. Installation of incubators, grain elevators, effluents recycling systems, and industrial refrigeration systems. Equipment for parent stock breeding and poultry housing systems. At the same time, the Atlantik Group itself produces floor and cage equipment for poultry housing and guarantees the highest quality. On the technological phase, the production plan is being implemented. The Atlantik Group specialists create all the conditions for a successful hatch. Already on the incubation period, the veterinary support program starts to be fulfilled. The advantages that the Atlantik Group customers can enjoy are the possibilities of poultry growing based on the cutting-edge technologies, getting the full genetic potential of the livestock due to a strict control over it, as well as using the rich experience of the Atlantik Group experts while performing a ration calculation.
Our experience allows us to create very effective feeding programs.
Sure enough, the main means of risk reduction is a high-quality veterinary care. The veterinary methodologies of the Atlantik Group are highly valued both in Ukraine and abroad.
Having worked with foreign partners, we have learned the poultry keeping problems in hot countries, and we are totally ready to solve those problems to prevent incident. Even if an incident occurs, we have enough experience to deal with one, even in hot climate conditions.
The main point that sets off Atlantik Group from its competitors is its readiness to organize the management of the projects it has completed. This makes it the only one of its kind.
Among the agricultural project developers, we are the only company that renders such service. We feel our responsibility when doing this.
By assuming the project management, the Atlantik Group proposes three kinds of cooperation: startup, ABD, assistant business development, FBD, full business development. The participation of the Atlantik Group under this kind of cooperation will last 6 to 12 months. The developer will provide the company with high qualification instructors, 10 to 12 persons, to assist in streamlining the production processes and training the personnel.
Once a company is being created, it is necessary to inbreathe life into it to make it work productively. Therefore, the startup model provides for the creation of a certain engine which must do that.
Cooperation under the assistant business development formula normally lasts from 3 to 5 years. In this case, several key positions will be occupied by Atlantik Group experts. Thus, a supervised company would not only get the initial impulse for its development, it would also get managerial personnel responsible for the business development in perspective. Full business development presumes still more active participation in the operation of the company it has created. That is, the developer would assume the responsibility not only for the start and further effective project management, but for the sale of the products as well. Thus, the Atlantik Group would act as a partner of the investor.
Having assumed this level of responsibility for creation of the object, its supervision, sale of finished product, we have no right to make a mistake at any of the phases.
Thanks to the cooperation with Atlantik Group, the investors in agriculture are able to take advantage of yet another unique service: remote management system, named PMA, which can significantly reduce risks and prevent losses due to mismanagement. PMA, Poultry Management Assistant, is composed of 3 complementary modules. First, 1, DNPC. With the help of special sensors, it collects all of the information of the processes in a poultry house: temperature, humidity, water and feed consumption, poultry weight, and other data. Second, Viewer allows for the constant visual monitoring of the poultry condition, as well as all of the processes taking place inside the poultry house. Third, IC, Interactive Communicator. With it, Atlantik Group experts can remotely manage the processes on a farm in real time. PMA system is Atlantik Group's brainchild. Its effectiveness has been proved by continuous use on a great number of poultry farms in Ukraine. A unique developer of agricultural projects, Atlantik Group is not only a reliable and efficient business partner ready to ensure the investment payback for companies it has created. For most, Atlantik Group is the constructor of honest, socially responsible business across the globe.
Entrusting their projects with the Atlantik Group, the investors invest their money, and they do that into the food safety of their country in the first place. It is not a single investor, but an entire region that we bring well-being to by developing our projects abroad. We are very large scale. This is no longer a myth.